All right, guys, welcome to Worm Wednesday. I'm on the couch with Lady, my little homie. I just got done feeding the 3 bins. I did the European Nightcrawler cocoons, the Red Wiggler bin, and the European Nightcrawler bin. Pretty good update. Not a lot of food. Most of the bedding was wet, so I had to add considerable amounts of newspaper this week. I did not have any vegetable scraps, so I just threw some chicken feed on top with some ground up eggshells. Let's see what else. Hey, next week's going to be a pretty cool video. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks that I am using to make my vermibag composting systems more efficient, and it is saving me a lot of time, like probably an hour and a half, 2 hours a week. So yeah, I look forward to showing you guys that. Have a good week and enjoy Worm Wednesday. Okay, first up is the European Nightcrawler cocoons that I started on 27 April, and there was 150 of them in there. So I didn't crack this open on camera last week. It's been 2 weeks since you guys have seen me here. Looks like these little dudes may have been crawling up the sides a little bit. Not a big deal. Okay, so here we are. It's very moist, but the worms are getting some size on them. I don't know if you can see that. But they're in there. There's quite a few of them. This is super wet. I don't like that. So I'm definitely gonna put a lot more bedding in here this week. Since the family is out of town, I don't really have that much vegetable scraps anyway. But they are reducing the amount of cardboard in here. I don't really have any vegetables to give them right now, so I'm just gonna feed them some bedding sources. But they are doing well and thriving. I may put a little chicken feed in here because I got some of that. Little juvenile worm. None of these are breeding size yet. As soon as they get to breeding size, I'm going to transition to something else. This is just to prove that you can do this with nothing but cocoons. And I am thoroughly convinced that you can. More little guys there. Okay, so I'm gonna get a feeding together and then we will come back and feed these guys up. Okay guys, so I have some ripped up newspaper that just came in the mail today, so it's good and fresh. It's a grocery store ad. I'm gonna mix this around just to kind of get it dispersed through there to help dry up some of this moisture. I think this will be the last time that this bin, whatever you want to call it, will be super wet. It's getting a lot better, so that's good. So I got this paper in there to dry out this stuff some. Now I have a little bit of chicken feed. Like I said, I don't have any fruits or vegetables because nobody else is here. Everybody's on vacation visiting family, and I had to stay home and work, you know. So, and it's not a big deal. It's a planned thing, so we got it. One thing I'm gonna do is make sure this paper's kind of broke up some because I don't want it to clump up a lot. Mix it around. And then I'm gonna take just a little bit of, this is a 1 tablespoon thing of chicken feed, and I'm just gonna lightly dust it all across the top. I'm not gonna mix it in because I don't want it to get all tangled up in there and ferment and turn sour on me. That chicken feed has eggshells mixed in with it, but just because you guys haven't seen this, I'm just gonna take this eggshell because I get people that say I don't put enough grit in the systems, but there's some eggshell. Leave me alone. I mix grit in with the chicken feed when I have to grind it up. But there you go, guys. That's it for the cocoon only bin. As you can see, it is moving right along. Them worms are growing. Everything's going pretty good with it. So let's move on to the next bin. Okay, this bin here is the red wigglers that I started. Just in a whole bunch of leaves and kind of let it soak. We're gonna check and see what's going on in here. Hey, look, there are worms right at the top. Right off the rip. So that's a good sign. I want to see how long it takes these guys to get through this entire thing that's mostly leaves. Lots and lots of leaves. There's worms. So far I've not moved anything and not found worms. These red wigglers are amazing reproducers. There's a couple of them right there. They can really survive in a lot of stuff. Right there is a nice mature red wiggler. Pretty little sucker. Let's check this side of the bin. If you guys have noticed that my background is a little different, because the wife and children are away, I'm able to do my wormery inside for right now. And it is hot in Louisiana, I tell you. And it's nice being able to stand here in the air conditioning. So I wanted to find a good mature red wiggler, and I did right here. So I could show you how to identify it. You see this part right here where my thumb's at? That's called the clitellum. When they are visible like that, that means it is a mature red wiggler. You could do the same thing with European nightcrawlers. So I just thought that would be kind of cool to show you. They're just munching away on this stuff. I mean, it's damp as well. If I squeeze it, I get some moisture out of it, but it's not overly damp. And it's still got a lot of bedding in it. Bedding being these leaves. So I think what I am gonna do is just put some chicken feed on it and let it sit, because it is doing well. And these guys are getting through this stuff as fast as they can. And I'm sure that with enough time, this population will really explode. Right there's a couple of young worms. I didn't see any cocoons, but right there's a little worm. Let me see if we can get him on camera. There he is, little guy. And there's one on my finger down here too. Fun fact, worms. So yeah, my goal with this is just to see how long it takes them to break it down. Really, I've got no purpose, no rhyme or reason behind it, but I found the smallest little worm, and I want to see if you guys can see it. Come on, camera, focus. See him right there? Little bitty tiny fella. Or gal, or both. Probably both, because, you know, they got both sex organs. But yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna get a little bit of this chicken feed. Sprinkle that on here. And we're done with this bin. So let me break out the red wiggler, the European Nightcrawler bin, and we'll see what's going on with it. All right, we're here with the third bin. It is the European Nightcrawler bin. Right off the rip, we got a little crawler right there. Let's see, are there any more little bitty crawlers? I don't see any. Oh, there's one. So these guys will probably go right back down as soon as this light gets on them, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, hang out, worms. Do what you do. So here's some bigger worms, or a bigger worm. Usually, oh man, this is super wet. I don't like that at all. There's a good, remember I talked about the clitellum? Right there's a good one. But you can see it's that light band on that worm. I can tell you already just from digging in here that I'm going to have to add a fair amount of bedding to this, just to get it to a reasonable moisture level. It is super wet, like super wet. Another good sized worm. Another good old sized breeder worm. So I definitely think in this bin, I am seeing more breeder size worms, and it may be because the Euros are a bigger worm, so they're easier to see. They do not reproduce as fast as the red wigglers, so I imagine that there are more breeder red wigglers in there that I just didn't see. This is pretty good in here. There's two breeders right there. There's one. Right here is another one. So yeah, this bin here, I'm about to rip up some paper, mix it all through here. I am actually going to leave my water retention thing off of it this week because this bin is pretty wet and I do not want it to go anaerobic on me. So I'm going to do the same thing with this bin that I did with the cocoon bin. I'm going to mix in the shredded newspaper, sprinkle a little chicken feed on top, and cover it back up. That's it for this week, and I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday.